What's up, everybody, and welcome to my channel. A lot of you guys are from TikTok, and I love you so much for coming over here. Now, the thing was, on TikTok they had stopped my videos for me in 10 minutes, and then it was only 3 minutes, and 3 minutes not enough for me to give y'all the tea. So that is why I am here on YouTube. If you are from YouTube, you can head over to my TikTok account at Zakayla Monique. So where I left off was me and Sweat stopped talking to each other, and we stopped talking for a couple weeks actually. And during those weeks that we weren't talking, me and Snout were talking, which was the other girl. Now, me and her didn't talk every single day, but we would talk here and there. It was like often, but like here and there, like not every day. Now, when me and her first started talking to each other, she wanted to know everything. She wanted to know like how old I was, like where we met, when we met, how long, you know, stuff like that. She also would sometimes tell me like the things that he would be saying about me, since me and him weren't talking. She would tell me how he would say, oh, I never took her out, I never spent no money on her, I never met her family, which all of that was a lie. She also wanted to know the things that he lied to me about, which I could not tell her because I didn't know. Like, certain things you just don't lie about. So as we got talking and I'm steady telling her about how our relationship was and the things that he told me, I found out a lot about him and a lot about the things that he lied to me about. For one, I already told y'all I was on to him. I knew that he didn't live in a trailer because that's what he told me. And if you do, there was no problem. I was okay with that. I still liked you, Pookie. He said he lived in a trailer park, which he didn't. He lived in a mini mansion. He told me that he did not graduate from high school because he was in jail. He told me that he was older than me, which I later found out was a lie. He wasn't even the same age as me, but we'll get into that. And that was pretty much it. I just, I didn't ask her no questions because I just assumed that anything he told me was a lie. Like, he could have said he had 2 moms or 2 stepdads. I don't believe you, you know? And also, one time I was telling her how we were supposed to go jet skiing on Memorial Day, because it's like a thing that me and my sister, we always do, and sometimes we'll bring people. And I asked him, like, do you want to go jet skiing with us? And he said yes, but he didn't show up. But baby, that didn't stop me. I went. I did. I sure did. I had a good time that day too. But he was somewhere with her, which I really didn't care about. Like I said, I didn't ask her no questions because I just assumed everything was a lie. Now, after she got over this wanting to know everything, she would ask me like, what am I doing with my future and stuff, and the things that I'm gonna be doing to get there. And I'll ask her the same thing. Now, she had told me that she was in cosmetology school. And after that, I text her. I'm like, girl, that is crazy, because I asked him if he knew somebody that knew how to do hair, and he said no. And she thought that was just so funny. Like, I was kind of being funny, but at the same time, I was like, really? She also would kind of sort of vent to me about this girl who she was friends with, and she didn't want to be friends with her for some reason. I really can't remember. She also sent me pictures of her first ultrasound. She would send me pictures of the vitamins that she was taking and her prenatals, and that was pretty much it. And after a few days to a week, I didn't hear from this girl, so I had texted her and I'm like, are you okay? And she was like, can I call you? And I was like, yeah, just to give me a minute. So once we get on the phone, she tells me like, remember that girl I was telling you about? Me and her, we finally talked, we had a conversation, and I told her I did not want to be friends with her anymore. And I'm like, okay. So what the girl did next was she went to Sweat, and she told Sweat while Snout was on vacation in July, she smashed such and such, whoever, you know? So she told me that, and then I'm giving her like my input, and she's like, that's not it. Sweat is on Facebook in her comment section telling people this, like he's doing way too much. So she's like, yeah, so Sweat and his mom are harassing me on Facebook, which they very much were doing. Now, I didn't have too much to say about the situation, because sometimes people don't even be wanting people to really talk about their business. They just want somebody to listen to them, you know? And of course, Sweat wasn't listening. His family wasn't listening. So, you know, she just needed that. And then she just lost her friend, you know? So after that, me and her were on the phone for literally probably about 5 hours. I cannot remember what we were talking about, but I think we could have been talking about him, her family, how she was like the oldest, like stuff like that, like where she come from. We were just talking, baby. We was chatting it up. That's one thing about me. I can talk if you let me. Okay, I don't care who you are. So we was talking, and she had screenshotted that, and she had posted it on her Snapchat. I didn't have this girl on Snapchat. I only just had her phone number. And she was like, much needed conversation, and my name was in her phone as Z with like probably 2 hearts, or probably just Z. I think it was 2 hearts, but I really don't know, because her name in my phone was her name with like the whatever this symbol is, less than, greater than sign, with like a 3, you know. So she posted that, right? And Sweat's brother had the both of us on Snapchat. So right after that, Sweat's calling my phone. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. He's going ham. He's like, why the fuck is y'all talking? What is she telling you? And what's going on? I haven't heard from her. I haven't heard from you. And I'm like, boy, like, shut up. I know you've been harassing this girl on Facebook this morning, so be quiet. So I guess she stopped talking to him too. After he's going off about us talking and stuff like that, he asks me if we can link up later on. And I told him no at first, because the last time we linked up, he was acting crazy. And I had to show up to his house, and my sister was acting crazy. So, no. Sweat shows up anyway. He told me he would be there at 8:30. I'm not thinking he's serious at all. Now, he have popped up before, but I'm not thinking nothing of it, because me and him not even talking. Like, you shouldn't be popping up. Like, you don't have the rights. You're not my man. He told me he was going to pop up. I brush it off. I had a regular day that day. I got in the shower at night, and then I get a text from him, and I ignore the text. Then I'm getting calls from a number. Answered his phone, and it's him. He's like, I'm outside, bop out. And I'm like, yeah, he lying, whatever. So I go to the window, and I text him, and I'm like, I don't see you in the driveway. Where are you? He's like, I'm around the corner. So I'm already feeling like he's on some BS, because why aren't you parked in front of my mom's house? Like, why you ain't parking in the driveway? You've always parked in the driveway anytime you came, or we was sitting in the car or whatever. Like, he wasn't really in my mom's house like that, because it's my mom's house. But when he did come, we would be sitting there. Now, I have felt real iffy about seeing him after a couple weeks, and knowing the last time we talked, it was like a whole bunch of mess going on. We were into it. We never made up. And I watched too much TV, too much true crime is what it is. What was going on in my mind was, he was talking to somebody, and they knew that he could not get up off me, so they wanted him to do something to me. Like, that's really what's going on in my mind right now, because you just want to link up with me after, you know, everything. So, like a smart that I am, I got my shank that my daddy got me. I had my mace, and I had a taser with me. He ain't know none of this until it was time to use it. So we're in the car, right? And he's like, this is the truth car. When you get in here, you don't tell no lies, okay? And I'm like, would you stop playing? And he's like, I'm dead serious. Like, we need to be telling the truth to each other. I want to know everything, and I will tell you whatever you want to know. At this point, I was cool on him, but I'm thinking that he's just sick in the head, and I don't know why, but sometimes I will test somebody just to see how far they're going to go. So I'm like, okay, cool, let's do it. Truth car. So he has this Calypso bottle in his hand, and it's mine. And he's like, Blue Dream, who the fuck is that? And then he puts the bottle next to my mouth, and I start laughing. And he's like, I'm not playing with you. Blue Dream, who the fuck is that? And he put the bottle by my mouth, and I'm like, that's Babyless. He was like, I knew you was lying. I knew it was him. And you want to be texting him while I'm sitting right there? And all this, he's just going off. And I'm like, you just said this was the truth car. Remember? Nothing but the truth. How you gonna get mad? So I'm like, I'm finna get out this car, and I'm not telling you nothing. I'm finna block you is what I'm finna do. And he like, I'ma chill. I'm like, okay. So then he had the little bottle in his hand, and I just couldn't take him serious with this bottle, acting like it was a microphone. So I'm like, can you please put the bottle down, please? And he like, you think I'm gonna hit you in your head with this bottle? And I'm like, no, but now that you say it, do you think that I won't shank you? And he like, you ain't about it, shorty. I'm like, hit me in my head with that bottle then. And he was like, I'm gonna just put the bottle outside the car. And I'm like, cool, you found you something safe to do. So after that, he was like, remember that day when you wanted to go get the cookies and we both know that you don't eat cookies? Who were those cookies for? Ah! And I literally just start laughing. Why? I really don't know. It's because like I feel like I was in a TV show and I'm watching somebody get busted. Like I'll laugh if it was on TV. So I'm laughing. He's telling me like to be for real. So I'm like, okay, those cookies were for Babyless. And he was like, why were you bringing him cookies? And I'm like, because he asked me to. And he was like, but when I asked you to do something, you don't do it. You don't listen to me. And I'm like, okay, what about it? And he was like, I don't like you, shorty. I swear I don't like you. I'm like, whatever. Get your hands out of my face. Like your baby mama. So then he was like, do not bring that bitch up. And I'm like, B-word? Like, who would you calling the B-word? He was like, yeah, and I saw that post that she made. Why is her name with a heart and why is your name with a heart? Y'all just the best bitches. He was like, y'all should be together. And then he was like, would you let her be with us? Like, she can be both of our girlfriends. And I was like, no. And he was like, why? She not pretty enough to be with you? I'm like, are you crazy? He was like, a little bit. So I'm like, dude, I'm about to get up out this car. And he was like, no, no, no. Mind y'all, my phone is off. That's why I wanted to sit in the front of the house, too. My phone was off at that time. I was working at Olive Garden. I wasn't making no money. Boom, I was broke. There it is. Okay, my phone was off. So we're still sitting on the side of the house. He asked me, like, do you trust me? And I'm like, it depends. Trust you to do what? Like, trust you with cheating or, like, what do you mean? He's like, do you trust me with your life? And I'm like, no. And he's like, okay. So he was like, let's just take a ride because I want you to trust me. And I'm like, you're doing too much. What are you trying to do? And he's like, I'm not trying to do nothing. So I had pulled my lip gloss out of my bag, right? And I'm putting my lip gloss on. When I put it back in my bag, I noticed that I had that shank and that taser and my mace. So I'm like, yeah, we can go on a ride. Because like whatever he think he's gonna do, I come prepared. We drive off and we drive around the block. And he's like, see, it's nothing to be worried about. And I'm like, I didn't say I was worried. I just said I do not trust you. So we're driving and he was like, let me tell you what's about to happen. He was like, when we go back in front of your mama house, we are going to switch phones. And I'm like, why are we going to switch phones? And he was like, because I want you to trust me that way. And I'm like, no, like, I really don't even care to trust you. And he's like, you don't care to trust me? And I'm like, no. He was like, that's crazy because I trust you. And I'm like, you shouldn't. Like, if I don't trust you, you shouldn't trust me. Literally. Now, since he been asking me questions about who I've been talking to and stuff, I don't care for him to go through my phone because the same one guy that I'm talking to is the same guy that's up in that phone. So I'm thinking he's like, he just want to know what we be talking about. So he's like, when we get back to your mama house, we just gonna switch phones. You could go through my phone too. And I'm like, okay. Now I only said okay because I thought what was in his phone would have been way worse than what was in mine. So I said, okay. So he pulls up, right? And he hands me his phone. He unlocks it. Mind y'all, every time we hung out or we would go to dinner, he would never bring his phone outside the car. When we would be on our way to a destination where we have to use a map, he'll hold his phone, but he'll be holding it the whole time and turning it that way and like looking at it like that. When he used to answer the phone, he used to have it upside down like this, facing the front facing downward and like go like this and answer it. Like he was just so stupid. I say all that to say I never even seen this man's lock screen or home screen. So once he gave me that phone unlocked, I'm like, oh, he's for real. And he gave it to me. He didn't touch it, nothing. He let me touch it. He was like, just don't go to his Gmail or whatever, which I was not finna go through. Like I really didn't even want to go through his phone because I know what you're doing already. He's like, go to me and my go to me and snout messages. And I'm like, okay. Like, I go on him and I'm strolling. And he said, yeah, you see how I'm not texting that bitch back and stuff like that. And I'm just strolling and strolling. And it is looking that way. But I know how this man is. If I was to text his phone and I would be like, hey, he would call me. He not going to respond. He's going to call me. That's what he was doing. So it's looking like she's just texting herself. But I know that after those messages are sent and he sees them, he's going to call her. I'm like, oh my gosh, you really haven't been texting her. You must really want to start fresh for real. And he's like, yes, I told you. And he literally takes my hand and he's kissing my hand and all that. So after that, he was like, now I'm finna go through your phone. And I'm like, you finna go through my phone? Why? Like, I just told you who Blue Dream was, who the cookies was for. Why do you need to go through my phone? And he was like, because you just went through mine. And I'm like, I did not go through your phone. I went to one person messages. And he's like, you want it back? You want to go through more? And I'm like, no, I don't. I didn't even want to go through that. You know what I'm saying? So I just takes me a deep breath and I opened my phone. But before that, before I handed it to him, I basically was telling him, don't go to certain things. Just like he was telling me, don't go to my Gmail, don't go to this, don't go to that. I'm telling him, don't go to this, don't go to that, or definitely don't go to that. Anyway, I told him what not to go to. Then I gave him my phone. And after that, my heart, like, I could hear it just beating and beating and beating. And he's like holding the phone in his hand. He was like, before I go through this phone, I just want to ask you, when did you and Baby Liz start talking? And I was like, after I came back from Louisiana. He was like, okay. So he goes up and up and up. And he was like, how did the conversation start? And I'm like, he hit me up. I don't know, but we were talking. And he's like, what were y'all talking about? And I'm like, I don't know. He probably was trying to make me jealous. He was talking about his ex-girlfriend who used to model. He was like, hold that thought. He goes in my phone. He search up model, which Baby Liz was like, she wanted to be a model, right? He go to that. He goes to that message, right? And he starts strolling up. He's like, these messages are, you got messages before Louisiana. So I'm like, and he's like, he's looking at me like he want me to say something. I'm like, you supposed to be going through the phone. You're not supposed to be talking to me. So then he goes up and he was like, you was linking up with him? And I'm like, yes. And he was like, did you smash him? And I was like, yes. And he was like, how many times? And I said, once. He was like, but last time you told me once. And I was like, okay, maybe twice. So he's just like, just shut up. And he's strolling through my phone, right? And he's like, oh, we should do this again sometime. He's strolling, he's strolling, and strolling. Oh, what time do you get off work? Strolling, strolling, and strolling. I'm here, strolling, strolling, strolling. Buzz me up, strolling, strolling, strolling. Like, he's like, all of these messages was not within one night. How many times did you see this man? And I'm like, I don't know. And he was like, you don't know because it was more than twice and you couldn't keep up. Is that why you don't know? And I'm like, yes. So now he got his hand in my face. And he's like, shorty, you so lucky I'm not a female. I would beat you the fuck up right now. I don't like you. And I'm like, well, you wanted to go through the phone so bad. Then he strolls down again. And he started strolling. I'm like, now you can give me my phone back. You found what you wanted, so give me my phone back. He like, no, you said that y'all did this after you came back from Louisiana. I'm finna see when y'all start talking for real. And I'm like, now you're doing too much. I'm like, just give me my phone back. He's holding my phone up, like, and out the window. He's reading. And I'm just hitting, bam, bam, bam. Now, why I'm hitting him, I cannot explain to y'all. I don't know why, but I don't know. I just wanted my phone back. Like, he was doing too much. He didn't care about these hits at all. And they wasn't real hits because I didn't want to hit him. I just wanted to kind of, like, have him think, like, oh, she not playing about this phone. After that, he takes it upon, okay. Period. No, let me stop playing. Okay, so after that, he takes it upon himself to, like, this gonna be me. and I'm in the passenger seat. He got his elbow in my chest like this, and he's pressing so hard on it that it left like a knot right here. He's pressing hard on it like that, and he holding the phone reading. He was like, this was this date or whatever. Like, he just, let's just say a random date. This was January the 6th. That was way before you went to Louisiana. Like, and he's hollering in my face. And I'm literally laughing at this man, and I'm getting mad because, like, get off me. So then he pulls off from in front of my mom's house. And now I know that since I'm not in front of her house, I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi. And when he give me my phone, I won't be able to call nobody. I don't know where we're going. I did know he was finna pull off. And he was like, you finna tell me how many times? And I'm like, I just told you, I don't know. So he pulls off, right? And he speeds, and like, where y'all at right now, I'm just gonna pretend like y'all are a tree. And me and him are right here. He speeds up. He's coming and coming and coming. And then he hits the wheel like real hard. And then he stops the car. And I'm up in the car like, I'm all up on the seat like, are you crazy? And he like, yeah, I am. I'm like, Sweat, calm down. I thought this was the truth car and we were here to tell the truth. After that, he starts, like, we start tussling a bit in the car. Now, I completely forgot that I had weapons on me. I got out the car. My purse was in the car. He still had my phone. We wasn't too far, so I ran to my mama's house. I ran in the house, and I texted him from my little sister phone and was like, you need to give me my phone back before I go to the police station. Because that's one thing about me. I'm going to tell. Everybody always talking about how suburban I am. I am. I'm going to tell on you. I'm going to call the police on you. I'm going to complain. I'm going to do all that. I'm going to handle things the way they need to be handled, to say the least. He texts back and he's like, you're not getting nothing back. I'm like, cool. I went to go get my car keys and I was about to go to the police station. I went to my mom's driveway, right? Got in the car. He literally came, like, parked right behind my car so I couldn't get out or even get around, you know? So what I did next was I started my car up. I bagged up just a little bit and I drove through my mom's grass and then drove into the street. Until this very day, my mom got those tire tracks in her front yard, and she don't know where they came from because she didn't have cameras at the time. Surprise, it was me, and it was an accident. So I hit the street and I'm driving like towards the police station and I'm speeding, right? And this man literally is behind me, but I'm going faster than him. So I'm driving and I look in my rear view mirror, and in the distance I see him turn the corner. He turned the corner so hard that his car starts spinning, and I'm like, he is really trying to get me. Like, it was that serious. Like, so I'm driving, right? And he catches up to me. He's driving and then he cuts in front of me and then he stops the car. And that is where I'm going to leave this video off at. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribing. You can go check me out on TikTok at Zakayla Monique. Thank you.